James Corden's fall tells a compelling truth that celebrities have their highs and lows. Their fame can be fascinating for a minute, and then deeply criticized the next minute. James isn't excluded. At first, he was loved for his unmatched sense of humor and charm, especially after his carpool karaoke performance. But later, the public's love and attention towards him drifted from a likable entertainer into intense hatred. So let's get into the details of how James lost everything, and also the tension that surrounds it. Being born into a family with strong ties to music and performing, from a young age, Corden has a passion for music, and he's naturally drawn toward entertaining others. He trained at the Jackie Palmer Stage School, where he began shaping his skills in acting and comedy. Also, during his sister's christening, he stirred the whole place with his playful behavior, which made people laugh. It was indeed an experience that sparked his love for comedy. At first, Corden's career grew slowly but steadily. He took parts in British TV shows like Teachers and Fat Friends, though the roles weren't flashy but gave him valuable experience. He also proved his ground by performing in The History Boys, a successful stage play that was later adapted into a movie, showing he could handle both drama and comedy well. His big break came in 2007 when he co-created and starred in the sitcom Gavin and Stacey. The show focused on the relationship between an English man and a Welsh woman. It was fascinating and stood out for its heartfelt humor and relatable characters. Corden played Smithy, the funny best friend, and his performance won audiences over. He even received an award for the role, which made him a major talent in British comedy. The Gavin and Stacey show became a national favorite, and this Mawi Corden became popular. His warmth and sincerity in the show got him his public image. He was genuinely funny, humble, and likable. But over time, things changed. James Corden teamed up with his co-star Matthew Horn for a new comedy sketch show, which was filmed in 2009. However, instead of being a hit, it was widely criticized. Most viewers found it unfunny, immature, and even offensive at times because it was overhyped. And it was the first time Corden's work received such strong backlash. This shook the clean, friendly reputation he had built. Also, it showed how public opinion can break and make one fragile in a blink. Despite this setback, Corden didn't give up. He made a strong comeback with the stage play One Man, Two Governors, which debuted in 2011 at London's National Theatre before moving to Broadway in New York. His performance was full of energy, physical humor, and flawless. Audiences loved it, and even the critics praised him massively. He even won an award for Best Actor in a Play, proving that he could bounce back and win over a completely new audience in America. His success opened up more doors for him, especially in Hollywood and on U.S. television. In the years that followed, Corden was cast in several movies. He took on roles in musicals like Into the Woods in 2014 and voiced characters in animated movies such as Peter Rabbit in 2018. These projects showed how versatile he is, but not all of them were well received. One of his lowest points came in 2019 after the movie adaptation of Cats, which was widely mocked by many people. Corden's performance was singled out as one of the weaker parts in the movie, which made the movie a theme for different punchlines. Also, his role in Netflix's The Prom got people talking again, with some feeling he leaned too heavily on stereotypes. These negative reviews started to chip away at his strong reputation. When James Corden took over The Late Late Show in 2015, it was a bold move. At the time, most Americans didn't even know who he was, but Corden paved his way after the traditional late-night format. His biggest breakthrough came with Carpool Karaoke, a fun segment where he sang along with celebrities like Justin Bieber while driving around. These clips went viral and racked up billions of views, turning him into a star overnight. Also, Corden became one of the most talked-about hosts on TV. He even won several awards and was asked to host major events like the Tonys and the Grammys. His ability to connect with both guests and audiences is priceless. At the peak of his popularity, he was celebrated as a British entertainer who had successfully cracked the tough US market. But as time went on, the shine began to wear off. People started to notice things that didn't sit right. What once seemed charming began to feel over the top. Critics said he talked too much during interviews, often interrupting guests, and that his nice guy image seemed too refined. The more he was in the spotlight, the more people began to question if the cheerful host they saw on screen was genuine. Behind the scenes, stories also began to surface. Some who had worked with Corden described him as demanding, rude, and tough. These comments painted a very different picture of him from the friendly, funny person who had made him famous. Fans and media started pointing out the difference between who he seemed to be and how he behaved, and it started to affect his reputation severely. It even got worse in 2022 when a well-known New York restaurateur, Keith McNally, publicly accused Corden of bullying his staff. According to McNally, Corden demanded free drinks and threatened to leave bad reviews when he didn't get what he wanted. This made Corden briefly banned from the restaurant. Although he later apologized and was allowed back, the damage had already been done. Social media erupted with other stories from people claiming they too had bad experiences with him. To make matters worse, Corden was also accused of joke stealing. Some were taken from Ricky Gervais. Even though he apologized, many saw this as another instance of his alleged arrogance and lack of authenticity. His flaws began to pile up and change the way many people saw him. However, on The Late Late Show, James Corden was captured on the show mocking dishes from Asian cultures, like chicken feet and century eggs, which some viewers find disrespectful and even racist. Critics argued that laughing at these traditional foods encouraged harmful stereotypes and showed a lack of cultural sensitivity. Beyond that, some of Corden's comedy sketches drew attention for reinforcing stereotypes, especially about the LGBT+ community. A good number of the audience felt the criticism was exaggerated. Others pointed out that in today's more aware and inclusive cultural world, comedians need to be more thoughtful about how their jokes land and who they affect. Also, the rise of social media made things even harder for Corden. In the past, a poorly received joke might have been forgotten, but now every error can go viral instantly. Clips of his uncomfortable moments, including tense interactions, circulated widely online, which sparked heated comments and mocking memes. This built a wave of negativity that made it difficult for Corden to maintain a positive public image. Eventually, this pressure seemed to catch up with him. In 2023, Corden announced he was backing out of The Late Late Show to spend more time with his family in London. Although he said it was a personal choice, many believe the decision was influenced by mounting criticism and a sense that audiences were losing interest. What was once seen as a successful and exciting chapter in his career ended on a more uncertain note. Rumors of difficult behind-the-scenes behavior and waning popularity left questions about whether he could continue thriving in American showbiz. Still, this departure also gave him the chance to reflect and possibly return to his roots. Maybe back to the theater or British television where his career first took off. James Corden's fall isn't as simple as saying he just lost everything. The phrase sounds dramatic, but it misses the bigger picture. Though these didn't happen overnight because of one big scandal, it was a slow and steady drop, caused by several things adding up over time. Some of his jokes rubbed people the wrong way, and he was accused of rude behavior, and at times, he seemed out of touch with cultural sensitivities. On top of that, the audience's perspective about him started to change slowly. What most people once found funny and charming started to feel outdated with so much hatred. In the beginning, Corden's fame was for good reasons, and he was loved. He was talented, funny, and brought something new and unique to late-night TV, especially with hits like Carpool Karaoke. But the same spotlight that lifted him also made his flaws more visible. With social media, people now call out public figures much faster and louder. In this new world, even a small mistake can go viral, and the internet doesn't easily forget. What makes it harder is that fame today isn't just about being talented, it's all about being real and respectful. Viewers want to see humility, sincerity, and a sense of awareness, especially when it comes to different cultures and communities. Celebrities are no longer just judged by their work on screen. Most times they're judged by how they act off-screen too. Corden's story is a good example of how quickly things can change in show business. He went from being a loved British comedian to a global star, and then to someone facing public criticism. He built his success through charisma and creativity, but he struggled to adapt when the world around him started expecting more than just entertainment. What once seemed charming and attractive started to come off as arrogant and insensitive. Still, it would be wrong to say his career is over. His talent hasn't crumbled yet, and many performers have bounced back from worse. If he's willing to reflect on what went wrong and learn from it, he could make a comeback, possibly even stronger than before. Corden's journey shows how fragile fame can be. It shows that being in the spotlight means walking a fine line between confidence and humility. Also, staying relevant means being open to growth and corrections. In today's world, one poorly judged moment can turn into a lasting stain, and recovering from that requires more than just talent. It takes honesty, self-awareness, and the willingness to change. Do you think James Corden will make a comeback and win over audiences again? Share your thoughts in the comment. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit subscribe for more updates. Thanks for watching.